So on behalf of the Mayor, Council, and the entire city of Asbury Park, I want to welcome you all to this presentation, public information session about the downtown parking garage. This is a project that obviously has been a long time coming and has been identified as a need specifically for the downtown, and we're excited to move forward with this project. Just to give you a little overview of the process with the project. So the design team, which is led by Tim Haas, T&M Associates, and Clark Caton Hintz, was kicked off about a little over a month ago to start the preliminary design process for this garage. At this point, we are at the conceptual phase of the project and are ready to start soliciting some public input about the preferred location and some of the initial design concepts. Once we hear feedback tonight from the public, the next step will be for the design team to kind of finalize that design and then present it again to the public at a city council workshop meeting. At which point, once the final design is approved, then we will move into detailed design and go out to bid. And the hope is that sometime in 2020, we will start construction on this garage, and we'll get into that a little more. Jim will get into that. So I'm going to introduce you to Jim Zullo, who is a principal at Tim Haas, who will lead us through the next part of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mike. And thank you for having come out on this very cold night. The city and our team really understand that how important a project this is for the city, and that how valuable the input is. We really do have a great team here. Our firm specializes in design of parking garages. We've done several throughout New Jersey, towns you're very familiar with: Atlantic City, Metuchen, Ridgewood, Long Branch, New Brunswick, if I didn't say that already. But very importantly too, we have Clark Caton Hintz, who works with the city of Asbury Park as one of its planning consultants, and T&M Associates. T&M Associates is the municipal engineer. So our team not only has a great extent of expertise and focus on this type of project, but also knows Asbury Park. And I think that's very important. And I think from the political leadership to our team, we understand how valuable your input is. So I just want to talk about why, what we're here to give you a quick understanding. So we were tasked to look at the municipal complex site and where would be a parking garage to support a variety of purposes. Obviously, the downtown business community, maybe future redevelopment, not only at the site, but other areas adjacent to or within a comfortable walking distance. We're also looking at things that could help invigorate the train station area. So what's gonna happen, and I'll go into how this format's gonna work tonight, but we've got a variety of our team here, and you're going to be able to walk around and talk to them one-on-one and understand, what we're thinking right now, as Mike said, very preliminarily, and then we want your feedback. I'll go into the format a little bit. But the one thing you should know is that we have done some preliminary work, and we've kind of identified what we think is the best location, which, if you can see it here, it sits above kind of what's the existing, or sits on what's the existing transit lot, adjacent, just south of the train station building. And some of the reasons we think that this is, again, at this point, a best site, or a very good site, is one, it keeps all of the municipal complex parking in not all of it, but most of it, in place while this garage gets developed or built. If we did look at other locations, and if we did do it there, you would, in essence, lose almost all that parking while this was getting developed. Secondly, it doesn't impact the municipal buildings. They can still operate. There's no need. One of our options looked at maybe taking this building out and doing it, and we figured that was going to be very disruptive, and then the city would have to find another location for its activities. So, and also we feel that this location has great proximity to Cookman Ave, to also the activities on the other side of the tracks that can maybe help connect these areas a little bit. And very importantly, we think it can help enliven this whole area. We look at this project also as a way to maybe enhance the rain garden and things like that, to really help improve this whole district. And believe it or not, been in parking a long time, we look at parking as a way to help enliven areas, because you're going to have several people a day, several hundred people a day coming and going from this facility, pedestrians. So it really, that pedestrian activity can help really enliven and create some vibrancy around this station, or station and the municipal complex. So tonight, and we want to get to it, so I'm going to be brief, and if anybody else wants to add anything. The way we're going to do this is we're all going to be manning stations, people from T&M, Clark Caton Hints, Tim Haas, all these folks that are with us. And we want you in a very unintimidating manner to come up and talk to us about your ideas. If you can, write, if you have specific thing you want us to record it in writing, there's Post-it notes on every table. You can put them on the plan, just get them this information. Ask any question you like, any comments you like. I don't know that we'll have all the answers because we're still, in a preliminary phase, and then we're going to take this input and kind of continue our process of refining, and then, we're going to further develop our plans, and then I believe, and I don't want to speak for the city, but after the holidays, sometime in the beginning of the year, we'll be back with the presentation of our, our concept, our preliminary design. So I think with that, we are ready to get up. We'll all man our stations, and you can just, again, come ask us any questions. We'll explain everything. And one thing you want to know, too, about the work we're doing, especially T&M, a lot of this process is due diligence work. Ultimately, we have to know what's in the ground out there. We have to understand the geotechnical. We have to do a site survey so we understand all the boundaries and property lines. So that's a big part of the project. Traffic analysis, that has really been, very, very preliminary at this point. That'll be kind of the latter phases to move forward. And that's a big part of understanding the feasibility of this garage and that type of thing. So with that, I invite you all to come up and interact with us, and hopefully we don't bore you too much or embarrass you. What's that? Oh, yeah. And again, there's notepads on each table, pens, write notes. Make sure we get them.
If you could just describe what each station, what discipline.
Sure. They're really everything. Each station, because we didn't know how many people were going to be here, so you can go. If you do, T&M is our site civil traffic engineer. So if you have, I think, questions about traffic or, I don't know about the soil consistency, but if you have any of those, T&M would be right. George and Mike from Clark Caton Hints are focusing on facades and getting feedback about facades. So you'll see pictures at each station with different ideas about facades, and they'll explain to you that, one thing we have to be very conscious of is cost and efficiency for the garage. That said, we recognize we're in Asbury Park, and you're a very vibrant, and a very design-focused community. So part of our team is just focusing on giving you the best design parking garage we can for a reasonable cost. And I think that's what you're going to hear from Clark Caton Hints. Not necessarily all the aesthetics, but how do we do that by maybe focusing on certain areas of the facade that have a bigger impact. So I think I covered that question. And, any other questions before we disperse? And again, you can ask anybody. We'll be here till 9 o'clock, so we got a lot of time. So. All right. Well, thank you very much, and again, thanks for coming up.
Each station is.
Yeah. Each station pretty much has the same boards and the same information. And what you're going to see too is we've already started a few conceptual designs of the garage at this particular location, and thank you for pointing that out. The difference is, and again, this would be something you'll be able to talk about. One, we're trying to span over, we recognize how important the bus loop is in here. So one of our concepts spans over that, and the other tries to build the garage or design it so that that's outside of the garage. And that's something we're still kind of wrestling with. We've had a meeting with New Jersey Transit about their bus operations, as they have to kind of be a part of this as well and make sure that the citizens using the buses are, hopefully they have a better experience than they have today. And that's what our hope is. And we recognize that Uber and Lyft and pickups are all around the station, and we have to make sure we plan that into the the overall concept as well. So, all right. Anybody else, anything I missed or want to? Great job. All right, well, thank you. Look forward to talking. What do I? One of these. All right.